All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts. These lines by William Shakespeare are some of the most famous in English literature. But if it weren't for a very special book, many of his plays may have been lost. In 1599, the Lord Chamberlain's men opened a new theatre on the banks of the River Thames. Because it was round, it was known as the Globe. For years, the Globe's stage was home to new cutting-edge theatre that asked deep questions about human nature. Many of those beloved plays are still staged today. But when Shakespeare died in 1616, two of his friends and fellow actors, John Hemmings and Henry Condell, knew they had to take action. They didn't want Will's plays to be lost. So they worked to assemble 36 of them in a large printed book. Today, we call it the First Folio. The collection included 18 works that had not yet been printed, and these became some of Shakespeare's most famous, like Measure for Measure, Macbeth, Julius Caesar, and The Tempest. Around 750 copies were printed, and 233 have survived. Some of Shakespeare's plays had already been shared in less expensive editions, flimsy pamphlets that weren't built to last. To save money, 4 pages of text had been printed on each sheet of paper and then folded to make small pages. That's why we call them quarto editions, for the number 4. But for the folio edition, only 2 pages of text were printed per side on every sheet of paper. When it was folded to make pages, the finished book was much larger. Folio editions were luxury items. Few people owned them. Often they were reserved for works of religious or historical importance, like the Bible. So the printing of Shakespeare's First Folio in 1623 was a milestone in preserving his legacy for future generations. It solidified his status not only as an accomplished playwright, but also as an author, whose work was now intended for readers. Today, 400 years later, William Shakespeare continues to delight and challenge audiences and readers. All this thanks to the power of one book, printed centuries ago. The First Folio is a reminder of the ability of art to transform our lives. It's a monument to creativity. And it's an invitation to be part of a conversation about what it means to be human that began on stage at the Globe hundreds of years ago.